Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Connie with the Painted Photographer. Welcome to my 12 days of thrifted Christmas. Each day I'm taking thrifted, forgotten items and giving them new life with a little creativity, a touch of old-fashioned charm, and of course, some holiday magic. If you love DIY, thrift shopping, and turning simple finds into beautiful Christmas items, you're in the right place. So let's jump in and create something together. I'll see you at the end.
For today's project, we're going to take this coffee mug that I found at the thrift store. It is pretty large, pretty tall. It was, I believe, 69 cents. So a very inexpensive way to create something that you'll love. And I took the sandpaper and I sanded off the wording on the cup just because it stuck out a little bit and I didn't want that to interfere with the painting that I was going to be doing. And so I sanded down those edges to make sure that it would not pop through. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is use DIY's Clear Salvation Solution. If you're painting glass or anything shiny, this is a must to use the Salvation Solution first. It actually gives your paint, no matter what kind of paint you're using, something to adhere to. So I take the Salvation Solution and I go over the entire cup and handle with the Salvation Solution and let that completely dry. For this cup, I've done this kind of project before, but it wasn't as white as I wanted it to be. So we're going to use the whitest white that I have, which is DIY's Cottage Color in white linen. This white linen is white. I absolutely love this color and I love the one-step paint. It is the perfect solution for doing a project like this. It is self-leveling. So when you put it on, you're not going to see those brush strokes. It is going to level out as it dries. I went and added 2 coats of this DIY Cottage Color, letting it thoroughly dry in between. And the second coat really did the job. That is, it's got amazing coverage for covering up that label. So if you haven't tried the Cottage Colors yet, you probably should grab yourself some because they are really good. Then next we are going to use this Santa bust and we put cornstarch into the mold and then we using the air dry clay I'm going to push it into the mold. Now, a lot of people think that you have to even out the backside like we do on all the other molds, but on this Santa mold, it is so deep and thick that if you use that much clay, it would take a long time to dry. Plus, you'd use up a lot of clay. So I just go in and I kind of make a hollow in the middle, but I also want enough clay in the center so his face doesn't squish in. So I add my just remaining my extra clay to that center and kind of push it in, and it was a little bubbly, was too high up, so I took a popsicle stick, shaved some of that off, and then it just makes kind of like a hollow. It's not straight across, which it's going to be perfectly fine. There is plenty of clay in there and there's plenty to not make his face sink in. So he comes out, he's got some amazing details to him. I'm going to lay him on this cup to see where I want him, and then I'm going to trim off the top and the bottom of the clay. Using Type Bond wood glue, I pick the mold back up And then I put the Titebond all over the back side of this mold, and then I lay it onto the cup, and I also molded out one of the holly leaves that I thought would be really kind of cute on the side of Santa's hat. You can slow down the drying speed of this mold if you paint it. I painted this one in the DIY's white linen, the cottage color, but I did get some cracking right here in his mouth, which you're going to have that, but don't worry, we can fix it. I squirted the Titebond wood glue into the crevice of that crack, and then I went in with my IOD clay, rolled it into a snake, and then pushed it into that area. And then using my paintbrush, I followed the hairline of Santa, and you won't even know that this has been repaired.
It's December again. I can't believe.
After that has dried, I went in with one more coat of the DIY's White Swan, painted over the mold and the cup to make sure that we had full coverage on all of the entire cup and the mold.
Whatever happened to the rest of the year? It went by so fast, I barely did see it.
Next, we're going to make a skin color. If you've been watching my 12 Days of Christmas, you've seen me make this skin color for my Santa bust that I did. This is sandy blonde, a little bit of cowgirl coral, which you could use Summer Crush if you had it. You just need an orange color, and then mix those up, and you get a skin color. We're going to lighten that skin color with the DIY bead board, and then as soon as you get the skin color, then you're going to be able to paint onto Santa. But I do recommend that you mix enough skin color in case you mess up and you need to fix his skin. You don't want to have to paint it entirely over again. So I paint when I go on with the skin. I am not careful of where my edges are. You only have to be careful with one of your colors. And so this was the color that I chose to overlap onto the other areas. And then when I paint the white for his fur on his hat and his mustache, I will be careful at that time. Santa is known for his rosy cheeks, so you just take your skin color and you mix in Carnival Red with that skin color, and you get a little rosy skin color. So then I painted his cheeks and his nose, and you'll notice I did not paint his little lip because that would be too hard to go around. I waited until my beard and everything was completely painted. Then I came back in and painted his lip, and you'll see that at the end of the video.
On this night, peace
Now that all of Santa has been painted, most of Santa has been painted, we need to work on these eyes. So you're going to use a very thin liner brush, and we're going to go in with white, and then we're going to do blue for his irises of his eyes, and then we'll go in with some black for the pupil. And then you also have to give him a little white speck for a catchlight to bring his eyes to life and give him a little bit of sparkle. I'll let you watch as I delicately paint these eyeballs.
Who is on his merry way? It's Santa. Who wants nothing more than bring you joy? Who has got a flying sleigh but Santa? Who keeps track of every girl and boy? The whole world knows him well as Saint Nick or Père Noël. And once a year he'll go barreling through the snow. Who makes every Christmas gift? It's Santa. Who comes down the chimney late at night? Who gives every heart a lift? It's Santa. Who is pulled by reindeer on his flight?
You want to make sure everything is completely dry. You do not want any wet paint whatsoever, so he's completely dry. And then I'm going in with the DIY Big Top and sealing everything in. I am going to clear wax and dark wax the Santa, but I do like to make sure that everything is sealed in before I do that. I don't want a very harsh dark wax. I want it to be very subtle. So 2 clear coats, which is one big top and one of the clear wax, is just a little bit extra protection. So when I go in with the clear wax, I want to make sure that my big top is completely dried. So I go in with the clear wax and that clear wax the entire Santa face. And there is no need to do the cottage color on the actual cup because that is already sealed. It is a one-step paint, so it has a sealer built into it. Now we're going to go in with the dark wax and go all over the Santa face with the dark wax and getting that into the crevices and bringing him alive just a little bit more.
The whole world knows him well as Saint Nick or Père Noël. And once a year he'll go barreling through the snow.
I wanted Santa to match the backside of the cup because the backside of the cup is that brightest white that we have. Remember, it's the cottage color. And so I go in with my cottage color and I wipe most of my paint off and then I dry brush on top of the wax. This is a one-step paint, so I no longer have to seal it. It is already sealed. And I go over his beard, his hat, his eyebrows, and then I also go over a little bit of the holly and his hat just to give him a little winter softness to him. And now this is the same color as the cup, and he's matching the cup just a little bit more. And those deep, dark crevices are making his details pop.
Put it on his show. Don't ask me how he's done in time. I just know he seems to do
I hope you enjoyed this Santa mug and let me know in the comments if you've seen my first Santa mug that I did. This one is just a little bit different. It's a little bit whiter and I really love this mold. I can't get enough of it. I did find one in my stash that I will list on my website and we'll see who can grab themselves a St. Nick IOD mold. You can find them at thepaintedphotographer.com.
Much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this project, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from each and every one of you. If you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the 12 days of Thrifted Christmas. If you need any of the products I used here today, you can find them at thepaintedphotographer.com and I'll ship them right to your front door. And until next time, happy painting.
Hurry, hurry, Mama's looking worried. Will the pie be ready in time? Papa's out getting a tree while my sister and me are writing verses and rhymes.